The Castle, Pilot, A Face in the Crowd, written by Eleanor Wells. Interior, Gardiner House, Dorothy's bedroom, day. Super, Atlanta, 1985. Dorothy Gardiner, 19, sits on her bed. She resembles Judy Garland. Her bedroom is plainly decorated. She's jittery but has a smile on her face. She tries to flip through a photo album. On the front, in colorful stickers, the album is labeled New York City. There are a few grainy pictures of Dorothy at various tourist monuments: the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty, Central Park, and the World Trade Center. Most are by herself, but there's one with a high school class. But it's hard to stay focused. Her gaze keeps switching from the phone on her end table to her watch. Her hands are shaking, then the phone rings. Dorothy closes the photo album and throws it aside, sitting up straight. She picks up the phone fast, careful not to drop it.
Dorothy Gardiner.
A posh British man's voice comes through on the other end. Later we'll know him as James Keene, or simply Mr. Keene.
Dorothy Gardiner, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
What time is it in Atlanta?
It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'm glad I could speak to you today.
Dorothy is quiet and meek as she responds.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. And thanks for working with my schedule. I know it's kind of crazy.
For a moment there's silence.
Dorothy,
Yes?
are you nervous? Because you don't need to be.
I suppose I still can't believe you picked me. That's all.
I loved what you had to say in your essay.
I don't even remember what I wrote.
I think it's very admirable that you're still there for your mother. And most your age leave the moment they turn 18 and never come back. You must really care for her.
Yeah. I don't want to still be living with her.
Then why do you?
I can't afford to be out on my own.
Dorothy, you help her. You work hard, you help with rent. Because you're there, she's not alone, and I think that's very admirable.
Yeah, of course, but I love her. I'm just tired of living with her.
Dorothy pauses, twirling the phone cord with her finger.
She was only 20 when I was born, a year older than me. And sometimes she makes me feel guilty for ruining her plans or whatever.
Where's your father?
He ran out when he found out she was pregnant.
I'm sorry to hear that. Dorothy, why don't you tell me a little bit more about yourself? How you came to find out about this competition, what some of your goals are, and how a stay at my castle would help you move towards those goals.
Sure. Well, my birthday last November was on the same day as the election.
Interior, Gardiner House, living room, night. November 6, 1984. A lower middle class living room. 2 paper plates with cake crumbs still sit on the coffee table. Dorothy looks out the window. She hears the cheers outside.
I'm not a political person, but my mom always has been. She loved Mondale, so she went to bed early.
Dorothy walks over to the couch, sits down, and begins to quietly cry.
I just remember thinking that night that my life is just the same thing, day after day after day. Going to work, going to school, coming home, not much else. You know, my mom says I'm young, I don't have to have it figured out, but I don't know, I'd like to know that I have a path in life.
Dorothy, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What would you do if no one told you couldn't?
Interior, Gardiner House, Dorothy's bedroom, day. The phone call. Dorothy's eyes widen.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Where's the first place you'd go?
Well, Scotland.
Dorothy's lip curls into a nervous smile, then Mr. Keene laughs. Dorothy laughs again.
Well, then after Scotland.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. There's so many places.
Have you traveled much?
No. I took a class trip to New York when I was in high school. That was fun. I'm a photographer, and my dream is to work for National Geographic. I'd love to go to different countries, meet people, take pictures.
Do you have a subscription?
Oh, no, we don't have money for those kinds of things.
Well, then you'll be happy to know that we have a collection at the castle dating all the way back to 1905.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I would love that. I love travel. Just don't get a chance to do it a lot. And I like taking pictures. I have a camera. I haven't used it. I'm busy.
Tell me about the grocery then, Dorothy.
Well, it's a job. It's how I found out competition, actually.
Interior, Rosewood Grocery, break room, morning. Dorothy sees Lisa looking at a magazine. Dorothy ignores her as she punches in. Then Lisa looks up from her magazine. She has a permanent scowl on her face.
Good morning, Dorothy.
Morning.
Come, look at this.
Dorothy obliges. Lisa shows her the cover of the magazine she was looking at. James Keene is on the cover, in front of a castle. He looks sharp, professional, and his smile is perfect.
Aren't you in college?
Yeah.
This billionaire in England is going to let 5 college students stay at his castle for 2 weeks next fall. You should apply. You have until the end of the year.
She hands the magazine to Dorothy. She takes it hesitantly.
I doubt I'd get it.
You have no reason to not. Try your luck.
Lisa smirks and Dorothy puts the magazine in her bag without giving it a second look. Interior, Rosewood Grocery, day. Dorothy rings up a long line of customers, smiling to everyone as she does.
I don't hate my job.
She turns and makes eye contact with Lisa, who gives her a look.
It's just
Yes?
repetitive.
Interior, Gardiner house, Dorothy's bedroom. Same. Dorothy twirls her finger in the phone cord.
There are so many things that I care about, but of course at the grocery store, nobody cares. I've just passed through most of my life anonymously, I guess. I wasn't going to apply.
Interior, Atlanta City College, classroom, night. Dorothy sits near the back of the small class. Her classmates turn papers into the professor, Mr. Cunningham, 40s. Dorothy curses under her breath.
Mr. Cunningham, I'm sorry I didn't do the essay.
That's the second time this week, Dorothy.
I know.
Just stand.
I know.
He stands up. Interior, Atlanta City College, classroom, later. Mr. Cunningham is in the middle of a lecture. Dorothy has nodded off at her desk.
What do you think, Dorothy?
Dorothy comes to and realizes everyone is looking at her.
See me after class, please.
Okay.
Dorothy sighs and eyes the clock. Interior, Atlanta City College, classroom, minutes later. As the other classmates leave, Dorothy stays at her desk. She eyes the clock. It's 8:30 p.m. Mr. Cunningham gets her attention.
Come sit. I won't keep you.
Dorothy obliges, pulling up a chair.
I've noticed that you aren't fully present with us in class.
I'm sorry.
I know you're smart. What's going on?
Just busy. I work 50 hours a week plus class. I'm out of the house by 6:30 in the morning every day, and I don't get back until 10 at night on school days.
Have you thought of taking a semester off?
I can't do that.
Why not?
It doesn't matter.
Anyway, there's only a few weeks left, and I don't want to have to fail you.
No, you don't have to worry about that.
I understand the constraints of your schedule, but I have to hold you to the same standard as everyone else. Can you find the time to finish your assignments?
Yes.
All right. You can still turn in your essay, but I'm going to dock 5 points for every day it's not in, okay?
I understand.
Just then, her stomach audibly growls.
Wow. I'm sorry I haven't eaten dinner yet.
Find yourself some food.
Dorothy smiles weakly.
Have a good night, Dorothy. See you Friday.
Good night.
Dorothy sighs as she gets her bag and leaves. Interior, bus, night. Dorothy sits alone on the bus. Her mind deep in the music she listens to on her Walkman. She stares out at the quiet city streets. Interior, Gardiner house, living room, night. Dorothy enters her house to find the TV still on and her mother, Lily, 39, passed out on the couch. Dorothy turns off the TV. Lily sits up.
What time is it?
Almost 9:30.
Dorothy's stomach growls again.
I need food. I feel like I'm going to pass out.
All right, then make yourself something to eat.
Interior, Gardiner house, kitchen, night. Dorothy walks into the kitchen. It's a pigsty. The sink overflowing with dishes, no clean pots or pans to cook anything.
Mom, what the fuck?
What did you just say to me?
There's no clean dishes.
You could help out with that,
You're home for half the day. I'm not.
Lily says nothing. Dorothy rolls her eyes and takes a bag of chips out of the snack drawer.
You're not having chips this late.
I'm exhausted.
Lily
Just let me have them.
You could at least have something healthier.
What the fuck do you care? Okay, it's my body. I'm an adult and I can do whatever I want.
Don't you ever speak to me that way again.
Without saying anything, Dorothy takes the chips and starts to go upstairs.
Dorothy,
Good night, Mom.
Interior, Gardner house, Dorothy's bedroom, night. Dorothy collapses onto the floor of her bedroom and starts to sob.
I guess you could say that I'm not living the life I feel I was meant to.
Then Dorothy looks through her bag and takes out the magazine that Lisa gave her earlier. She pages through it. She finds a specific page. Request an application. She tears it out, continuing to stare at it. Interior, Gardner house, Dorothy's bedroom day. Days later, still 1984, Dorothy sits at her desk, staring at one of the application questions. What unique contribution do you feel you have to offer the world as you move into adulthood? After a moment, she puts a piece of paper into her typewriter and begins to type.
I loved what you said about wanting to travel the world, experience other cultures.
My mother has lived in Atlanta for her entire life, and I just can't imagine that. One day I'm going to have enough money to leave.
I hope so.
Interior, bus, day. One morning, Dorothy looks out the window as she listens to the music from her Walkman.
This is embarrassing, but I made up stories about a couple of the regulars that I ride the bus with in the morning.
And why do you do that?
I think about those things when it comes to other people. I feel like so often as we go about our days, other people are just in our way. But they have a story that led them to that place at that time. Everyone does.
Well, it's very intuitive of you, Dorothy. I don't know many of my peers that think that way, much less anyone your age.
First, we see Nancy, 40s, in a sharp, brightly colored business suit reading a newspaper.
So there's Nancy. She always got her hair done up real nice, wearing expensive looking suits. Oh, I call her Nancy because she reminds me of Nancy Reagan. Not because that's actually her name. I don't actually know her real name. So I think she was married to a rich man, had a couple of kids, went to all the parties. Then she realized she wanted more out of life. Divorced him, got a job. She works at this fancy office downtown, and she has to take the bus because parking's only for the executives. She tells herself she'll get there one day.
Now we cut to Clara, 20s, her hair up in a top knot, wearing a sweater over her leotard, ballet bag at her feet. She blankly stares out the window.
Clara's obviously a ballerina. I think she's at a standstill, though. She's not progressing at the company she's with. Every season she hopes she'll get a bigger part, but it never happens. She thinks about quitting, but she knows that nothing makes her feel the way that ballet does.
Interior, Gardner house, Dorothy's bedroom, day. Back to 1985, the phone call where we started, and Dorothy's sitting on her bed.
Dorothy, I've really enjoyed speaking with you.
Likewise.
Do you have any questions for me?
What are the next steps?
Well, I have other phone calls to get through. I have to narrow you down to 5, which is going to be very difficult. Still, I hope to have my decisions by the end of the month so I can bring you all out here in September.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Dorothy.
Goodbye.
Dorothy hangs up the phone and buries her head in disbelief. Interior, Rosewood Grocery, day. It's a slow day at the grocery store. Dorothy stands behind the register, bored. She literally twiddles her thumbs. Just then, Lisa approaches.
Hi, do you need something to do?
I don't know. I thought I'm supposed to be at the register.
Does it look like there's anyone in the store?
I thought I wasn't supposed to leave unless I was told otherwise.
Dorothy, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you think you did a good job mopping this morning?
I don't know.
Well, go to the pet food aisle and let me know. When you're on the clock, I need you to be present.
Okay.
And get your head out of the clouds.
Okay.
Interior, Rosewood Grocery, pet food aisle, day. Dorothy walks into the pet food aisle and sees that the floor has been sloppily mopped. A customer browses their selection of treats. Before Dorothy can leave, the customer stops her.
Excuse me, do you work here?
Yes.
Do you have any of those peanut butter bones?
Dorothy looks. There are none hanging on the rack where they should be.
We must be out of stock.
Can you check the back?
If we don't have them out on the floor, then we're out of stock.
Can you just check?
Okay.
Interior, Rosewood Grocery, break room, day. Dorothy looks through the stock. As expected, there are none there. She wearily grabs a bag of peanut butter treats. Interior, Rosewood Grocery, pet food aisle, day. As Dorothy returns, the customer waits impatiently.
We don't have any bones, but we do have these treats. They're a new product. Dogs love them.
I don't want those. I want the bones.
We don't have them.
But I always get the peanut butter bones here.
I mean, we get our stock replaced twice a week.
Okay, so when are you going to have them again?
I don't know. I'm just a cashier.
The customer sighs, taking the bag of treats out of Dorothy's hand. Dorothy stands in the aisle and exhales. Interior, Rosewood Grocery, pet food aisle, later. Dorothy, listening to her Walkman, mops. Shortly after, she notices Lisa standing at the end of the aisle.
Dorothy,
She takes off her Walkman.
that was the third time I called you.
Sorry.
Don't ever listen to music when you're out on the floor again.
Sorry, I thought it was okay because it was slow.
No, come on, Dorothy. You've been here almost 2 years. You should know better.
You're right.
Then Lisa looks at the freshly mopped floor.
Much better. Thank you. Anyway, I'm releasing you. Have a good afternoon.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Yep. Bye.
Exterior, Rosewood Grocery, day. Dorothy walks out into the parking lot. She pauses for a moment and watches the scene around her. Quiet, but occasionally cars pass, people walk. She checks her watch and decides to keep walking. Exterior, downtown Atlanta, shopping district, day. Dorothy walks down an expensive street and looks into a storefront. There's a beautiful green velvet dress on display. Dorothy eyes it. After a moment, she walks into the store. Interior, store, dressing room, day. Dorothy wears the dress. As she looks at herself in the mirror, it takes her a moment to get used to wearing it. After she does, she twirls and smiles. Then she sees the price tag, $200. She sighs.
Dorothy, how's it going?
Oh, I'm good.
Dorothy opens the door to find the sales associate waiting for her with a smile.
Beautiful.
I'm not going to get it at this time, though.
Of course. You can just leave it on the rack. Anything else I can help you with?
No, thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for your help.
After their sales associate leaves, Dorothy closes the door to her fitting room and hesitatingly takes off the dress.
Someday.
Interior, Gardiner house, living room, night. Dorothy returns home to find her mother on the couch watching TV. She sees Dorothy.
Oh, Dorothy, if the phone rings, don't answer it unless we're expecting a call.
Why not?
Someone's been calling and hanging up again.
What?
If it happens, let me know immediately.
Okay.
Dorothy starts to walk away.
Dorothy,
What?
are you gonna ask me about my day?
You didn't ask me about mine.
Dorothy continues to walk away and up the stairs. Interior, Gardiner house, Dorothy's bedroom, night. Dorothy lies on her bed when she hears a knock at the door. She sighs.
What?
Lily opens the door.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. You want to leave me alone for once?
Hey, don't talk to me that way.
I'm really tired, okay?
I'm really tired too. You can still be nice.
Dorothy sighs and sinks back into her pillow.
I'm sorry.
I wish you would show me a little more appreciation, Dorothy.
How do I not show you appreciation?
You storm into your room. You never say thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay, I really am.
By the way, you never told me how your interview went.
It takes Dorothy a moment to realize what she means.
Oh, the castle thing? It was fine. I'm not going to get it, though.
What did he ask you? Oh,
Oh, no, you go.
Well, he asked me about my life, why I'm the person he should pick.
what did you say?
I don't remember. Anyway, like I said, I'm not going to get it. There were 100 finalists, and he's only going to pick 5 to go.
And how many applications were there?
He said 10,000.
You beat out all those other people. He wanted to have a phone call with you. That's something to be proud of, Dorothy.
Well, what difference does it make if nothing in my life has changed?
What are you talking about?
Every day. It's the same. Go to work, go to class, come home, do it all over again. I want my life to mean something. I don't want to just exist.
You're only 19 years old. Give me a break.
I mean, at school, all anyone wants to talk about is going out and dating, and I just don't really connect with that. I want to be able to travel and have a house of my own and come back to and have a job that I actually like.
Do you know what I was doing when I was your age? I was getting high and sleeping in a different place every night.
When I got the call that I was a finalist for this competition, I thought Mr. Keene must have made a mistake. I still can't believe that I talked to him.
So who is this man exactly?
Some rich man in England. The castle's been in his family for generations. He just renovated it. I've always wanted to go to England.
Save your money.
Or I could get picked. You never know.
Good night, Dorothy. I love you.
I love you too.
Lily smiles tiredly as she leaves the room. Interior, Gardner house, living room, afternoon. A rare off day for Dorothy. She sits in the living room in her pajamas, painting her toenails. Then she gets the remote and turns on the TV, flipping through the channels. It's mostly commercials. Then she lands on something. The face of James Keene, 40s, handsome, debonair. He reminds one of James Bond or an outsider's idea of what a British gentleman might be. He sits across from the interviewer, giving him his complete and total attention. Insert TV interview. The television set is posh, elegant.
Of course, Mr. Keene, there are lots of questions about you.
I hope I can answer some of them tonight.
Well, for instance, if I were to tell anyone on the street your name, they might know who you are, but not exactly what you do or anything about you.
Having money or success or both is an interesting thing. Suddenly, everyone's interested in you, but I've never been one for the spotlight.
Well, then why thrust yourself into, I think it's fair to say, the international spotlight with this competition?
See, this story is quite personal to me. When I was in my 20s, I spent a few years traveling the world. I got to see the way people really lived. And now, being a part of the elite myself, I can safely say that most are out of touch with the way people really live. Ronald Reagan says his country is a shining city on a hill. But the problem is that it's only true for a handful of those people. I know here in Britain, I'm one of those people. So I want to give back. So many young people have dreams, and society tells them those dreams aren't possible. And I chose the Scottish Highlands because it's captured the imagination of the world for thousands of years. I want to tell young people that their dreams are possible and give them an experience they wouldn't otherwise have. I spoke to a girl in Atlanta who wants to travel the world but is too busy working and attending class to even do so.
Interior, Gardner house, living room, same. Dorothy sits up, raises her eyebrows, and momentarily stops painting her nails. Insert TV interview, same. We cut back to the interview.
And you got something like 10,000 applications, yes?
From university students all over the world. And I wanted to review them all myself. I didn't want to hire a staff. It's part of the reason it's taken this long. But I can tell you now, I've chosen the 5, and I will be informing them and the world very soon.
It was a difficult decision, I'm sure.
Incredibly difficult. I only wish I had unlimited space in the castle. I look at more than just grades or extracurricular or anything like that. Do I think you have something unique to say? Do I think you have the potential to be great? That's what I've looked for.
Is there anything else you can tell us about the winners?
Well, 4 countries are represented. 1 from Britain, 2 from the United States, 1 from Canada, and 1 from Mexico. And these students attend everything from top-tier universities to what they call community college.
Well, I know the world is waiting with bated breath to find out their names.
The trip is in September, so I promise an announcement is coming very soon.
James Keene, it's been a pleasure.
Both stand up and shake hands. The TV clicks off. Interior, Gardiner house, living room, day. Dorothy sets the remote aside and sighs, covering her face in her hands. She walks over to her backpack, taking out some cash from her wallet. She looks outside at the sun shining through her window. Interior, public park, day. Dorothy sits on a bench with a camera and a film canister. The park is busy with people enjoying the day. She scans her surroundings, noticing a couple making out. She stares at them for a moment before she looks away, her face red. Then she puts the camera strap over her neck and gets up. Her eyes drift to the couple again, not making out anymore, but instead the woman buries her face in the man's chest. They eye Dorothy.
Hi.
Hi. I'm sorry I was staring. It's just that you two seem like you're very much in love.
We just got engaged.
Let me take your picture then. If that's okay. I just feel like this is a moment that you would want captured.
We'd
love to take our picture, honey.
Okay. I don't know when I'll get a chance to develop these, but if you give me your address, then I can make sure you get them.
Sure.
The couple poses and Dorothy snaps a few different ones.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Dorothy.
It's nice to meet you, Dorothy.
Are you a photographer?
It's something I enjoy.
Dorothy takes a notepad and pen out of her bag and hands it to the woman. She writes down her information and hands the notepad back to Dorothy. Then she goes to rejoin her fiancé, who puts his arm around her.
Have a lovely day.
They wave and walk in separate directions. Dorothy takes a few more pictures of the environment that surrounds her. Interior, bus, morning. Dorothy rides the bus, listening to her Walkman. Just then she notices Nancy reading the newspaper. The headline reads, "Keene to announce winner of castle contest today." Dorothy feels her heart pound. Then she gets Nancy's attention.
Excuse me?
Yes?
Is that today's paper?
Yes, it is.
Is there anything about the announcement, how it's happening?
Did you apply or something?
I did, actually. I was one of the finalists.
Really? That's impressive.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have told me already if I gotten it right. What time is the announcement? I mean, I'm sure I'll be working, but
Looks like 2 a.m. our time. They're doing it first thing in the morning, British time.
that makes sense.
Well, good luck.
Dorothy.
Tanya.
Dorothy blushes at hearing the real name of the woman she dubbed Nancy.
You remind me of Nancy Reagan, with the way you dress.
That's very sweet of you, honey.
Just then, Nancy Stop approaches. She pulls down the lever and stands up.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Dorothy sighs deeply as she watches Nancy exit the bus. Interior, Rosewood Grocery, day. Another boring day, one like any other. Dorothy finishes checking out a customer, then she sits at the register, bored. Dorothy's stomach rumbles. She checks her watch, 11:55. Near the entrance, Lisa tends to a flower display. Just then, a young reporter, Veronica, bursts in alongside a camera crew.
Hi.
My name's Veronica Tate. I'm with Channel 6.
Yes, of course.
We're looking for Dorothy Gardiner. She does work here, doesn't she?
What is this regarding?
Miss Gardiner is one of the winners of James Keene's international search to stay at his family's castle in Scotland. Of course.
Lisa nearly drops the flowers in her hand. Dorothy stands straight up, hearing Veronica's words. She gets their attention.
I'm Dorothy Gardiner.
That's fine. Do what you need to do in the break room. We have customers.
Will you show us, Miss Gardiner?
Dorothy nods. She leads them into the break room. Interior, Rosewood Grocery, break room day. Dorothy leads them in and the camera crew begins to get set up. Dorothy turns to Veronica.
Did I hear you say that I'm one of the winners of James Keene's castle contest?
Yes. Mr. Keene wanted to surprise all the winners.
One member of the camera crew hands Dorothy a clipboard. On it is a standard release form.
We'd like to film a segment for Mr. Keene's television announcement special, with your permission.
Dorothy sits at Lisa's desk, barely reading it. Dorothy signs the form.
Oh, I'm Veronica, by the way.
I've seen you on the news.
You know who you look like? What's her name? Judy Garland.
Yeah. I've just been waiting for that thing to take me over the rainbow.
That's really clever. You should say that in the interview.
What? About going over the rainbow? When should I say it?
I'll guide you.
The cameras start to roll.
Tell us who you are.
My name is Dorothy Gardiner. I'm 19 years old.
And where are we, Dorothy?
We're in the break room of my job at the Rosewood Grocery in Atlanta, Georgia.
And what do you do for work?
I'm a cashier. I count the register at the beginning and end of every day. I ring customers up, replace the stock.
And you go to school, right?
I'm a part-time student at Atlanta City College. I live with my mom, nothing exciting. I suppose you could say I've been waiting for the cyclone to take me over the rainbow.
I think you found it in winning this trip.
The camera shut off.
Oh, great job, honey. They're going to love you.
Who?
Everyone. We've got to go now, but it was great talking to you and have fun on your trip. Oh, I almost forgot. I was told to inform you that you'll be getting more information in the mail next week. Yeah, well, have a good rest of your shift if you'll be able to focus.
Yeah, I'll try.
They leave just as Dorothy manages to regain her composure. Lisa enters the break room. For a moment, they're silent.
So, wow, how'd you pull it off?
I don't really know. I just answered the application questions honestly.
You never even told me you were a finalist.
It never came up.
We'll have to celebrate before you leave. I do need you back on register, though.
Actually, I'm supposed to be on break now.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Well, at 12:30, I'll need you.
Of course.
Enjoy your lunch.
Lisa walks away, leaving Dorothy alone. Once she is, Dorothy screams excitedly. Exterior, bus stop, later. That afternoon, Dorothy walks toward her bus stop, a skip in her step. She sits down and looks back in the direction of the grocery store, shaking her head in disbelief. Interior, bus, day. Dorothy rides on the bus, looking out the window. It's a beautiful sunny day. She smiles, tears of joy stream down her face. Interior, Atlanta City College, classroom, night. Dorothy sits in class, clearly bored but jittery, but she does her best to listen to a different teacher's lecture. Then the bell rings and the students get up to leave. As Dorothy does, she can't help but smile. The teacher stops her.
You're in a good mood today.
Oh, you know.
Well, you've been doing great work, so keep it up.
Good night.
Good night, Dorothy.
Interior, Gardiner house, living room, night. Dorothy enters to find the lights and the TV on, but her mom absent.
I'm home.
In the kitchen.
Dorothy sets her bag down, squeals, and nearly skips over to the kitchen. Interior, Gardner house, kitchen, night. Lily wearily does the dishes as Dorothy approaches her.
Why are you in such a good mood?
Yes.
You got a promotion. You got a raise. You have a boyfriend?
No, it's none of those things.
What?
I'm one of the 5 winners of Mr. Keene's castle trip, so I will be in Scotland in September.
Really?
Not really.
How do you know?
A camera crew came to the store today and interviewed me and everything.
Well, is it going to be on the news?
Mr. Keene's doing an announcement special at 2 a.m. I think they wanted to save it for that.
Are you going to stay up?
I'd like to. I want to see who else won.
Well, just remember you do have work in the morning.
I know.
Tape it for me, okay? I want to see.
I will.
And be sure to keep the volume down.
I will.
Dorothy, that's really wonderful. When do you find out more?
They said I'm supposed to get something in the mail next week.
Well, I'm going to bed. Congratulations, sweetheart.
She smiles at her daughter and walks past her into the hall. When she's gone, Dorothy squeals again in disbelief. Interior, Gardner house, bathroom, night. Dorothy, in her pajamas, stares at her reflection in the mirror. She fixes her hair. She presses her hands to her cheeks and sighs deeply. Then she checks her watch, 1:48 in the morning. She leaves the bathroom. Interior, Gardner house, kitchen, night. Dorothy waits as water boils, a mug and a tea bag waiting at the counter. As she does, her eye catches something, a piece of chip peeling paint on her wall. She touches it with her finger and sighs. Then the water finishes. She pours it into her mug and walks into the living room. Interior, Gardner house, living room, night. Dorothy finds a seat on the living room floor and turns on the TV, making sure to keep the volume low. She flips through a few channels before she reaches the right one. She's greeted by a commercial. Dorothy's eyes glaze over as the commercial passes, and then the screen goes dark, and we hear the faint sound of Scottish folk music. Exterior, the castle, day. The music continues in the background, and we hear the chirping of birds. Mr. Keene stands confidently in front of the camera, dressed to the nines as he was before. He smiles widely.
Good morning or middle of the night, whatever you're tuning in from. I am very excited to be speaking to you today from Family Castle in Scottish Highlands. Without further ado, the winners.
Exterior, the castle, courtyard, day. The film cuts and we see Mr. Keene sitting on a bench in a beautiful garden.
Our first winner attends university in the town of Superior, Wisconsin.
Dorothy raises her eyebrow, intrigued as she watches. The film cuts once more. Exterior, Superior, Wisconsin, day. We're behind a small shop in front of a lake. Gavin, 20, an attractive college sophomore, sits on a bench and talks to an off-camera anchor.
My name is Gavin Wolf, and we're outside of Bertram's Fishing Supply. It's where I work.
And what do you do, Gavin?
I work the register.
And how do you like that?
It's okay.
Tell the audience what you really want to do.
I want to buy some land and open a campground, inspire people to spend more time outdoors.
And what motivated you to apply for Mr. Keene's contest?
I've never been out of the country. I thought it would be a really cool experience. Part of me thinks this is all a scam.
Why do you think that, Gavin?
I don't know.
I assure you that this is quite real, and Mr. Keene is looking forward to having you.
Footage cuts. Interior, Gardner house, living room, night. Dorothy smiles as she continues to watch the TV and sip her tea.
Our next winner was a grocery store clerk from Atlanta, Georgia.
Dorothy cringes as they replay her news footage. Exterior, the castle, lake, day. We're back to Mr. Keene and the TV. He's sitting in front of a serene lake and motorboat.
I'm here now in front of our lake. Our winners could go out on the boat, or they can simply sit out and enjoy the beauty and privacy of the Highlands. And for our next winner, we go to the Great White North.
Exterior, McGill University, day. The film cuts to a university and Sylvie Crockett, 21, petite and serious.
Hi, my name is Sylvie Crockett, and we're at McGill University in Montreal. I came here to study medicine, but I'm originally from Toronto. I want to be a surgeon and save people's lives.
Exterior, Tulum, Mexico, day. We're in front of a theater and see how well-dressed Marta Vasquez, 18, unable to contain her smile.
My name's Marta Vasquez. I'm an actress here. I'm bilingual in English and Spanish. I go to acting school here in Tulum, and I want to move to Hollywood and be in movies.
She smiles. Exterior, Liverpool, England, day. Artistic Lucy Ellington, 18, is interviewed outside of a bookstore. She covers her mouth with an excited scream. Exterior, the castle, day. Back to Mr. Keene in front of the castle.
Miss Ellington is at a loss for words, I see, and I am looking forward to seeing all of you very soon.
Exterior, Rosewood Grocery, day. The next morning, Dorothy approaches the grocery store for her shift. First, she sees Lisa putting out gardening tools. Dorothy sees Veronica approach with her camera crew at the same time that Lisa does. Veronica gets Dorothy's attention.
Dorothy?
Hi.
Sorry about yesterday. They just sent us out and we barely had enough time. Wondering if you might want to chat for the local news?
It's okay, Dorothy. Just punch in when you're ready.
Lisa goes
Sure.
inside and Dorothy turns to Veronica.
Sure.
The camera crew hands her another form to sign and they start filming.
I'm here with Atlanta's own Dorothy Gardiner, who's one of the 5 college students selected from all over the world to spend 2 weeks at a castle in Scotland.
Sorry. I may have stayed up to watch the announcement special. Probably not the best decision I've made in my life.
Well, you were excited.
I was curious to see the other winners.
Well, what do you have to say to everyone watching the news tonight?
Anything's possible, I guess. I still can't believe it.
Oh, thanks, hon. Well, have a good shift and fun on your trip. Man, I'm jealous.
Veronica and the camera crew leave, and Dorothy walks inside. Interior, Rosewood Grocery, break room, day. Dorothy enters the break room to find Lisa doing paperwork. Without looking up, Lisa begins to speak.
The register's already counted, so you can go out as soon as you're ready. You'll be on at 2 this morning.
Okay.
By the way, when do you go on your trip?
September 9th through the 25th.
I thought you were leaving for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's 2.5 weeks.
We're doing a day in London and then a day to get there, and I guess he wasn't counting the days to travel there and back. Is that okay?
Should be.
Lisa goes back to her work. Dorothy rolls her eyes and punches in. Interior, Rosewood Grocery, day. Dorothy stands at the cash register, passively checking out a customer. Then she yawns.
One of those days, huh?
Yes. I mean, at least I'm not in school right now.
Where do you go?
Atlanta City College.
Hey, at least you're in school. I dropped off after a semester.
And I'm gonna miss most of my first month back, though. I'm going to Scotland.
Don't get eaten by the Loch Ness Monster.
I will try not to.
Just then, Dorothy notices a line has begun to form behind the customer. She looks at the total and finishes bagging a single bag of groceries.
8:05. Kept it easy for me. Have a nice day.
You too.
She leaves. Interior, Rosewood Grocery, break room, day. On her lunch break, Dorothy eats a sandwich next to Melissa, 17.
I'm getting as far away from here as I can after I graduate.
Where do you want to go?
Maybe New York. You?
New York is wonderful. I went on a class trip my junior year.
I'm jealous.
To answer your question, though, I don't really know. I mean, I've only been in a handful of places in my life. I always think Hawaii would be cool, live in a cottage on a beach somewhere. So, how do you like working here so far?
Let's just say I've already thought about what it would be like to quit. It could be worse, though. You know, my boyfriend, guess where he works?
Where?
Coca-Cola, in customer service, answering the phone.
Oh, no.
It's calmed down now that they brought the original recipe back, but he's told me some stories and I don't envy him. You know, I think it was all a marketing thing to sell more Coke. My boyfriend thinks so too.
Then Lisa enters.
Hi, girls.
That's me.
She punches in again and turns back to Dorothy.
Dorothy, you're cool. We should talk more.
Yeah.
After she leaves, Lisa and Dorothy exchange a look. Interior, Gardiner house, Dorothy's bedroom day. Dorothy blasts music from her stereo as she starts to pack. There's a knock at the door.
Yeah?
You got a package.
She hears Lily walk away and opens the door. She takes the package and puts it on her desk. She sees it's from James Keene. She excitedly opens it. First, she sees an envelope and opens it. Inside is a first-class plane ticket from Atlanta to London, Monday, September 9th, 1985 at 8:20 a.m. She looks at the ticket again and squeals. She looks at a typewritten letter on her desk, a packing list with more information. "We will spend the first day of our trip in London," it reads. Then she looks at something under it, a check for $200. There's a handwritten note. "Buy yourself some new clothes for the trip. James Keene." Interior, Gardiner house, kitchen, day. Dorothy, dressed to go out, is stopped by her mother, reading the paper.
Where are you going?
Shopping.
For what?
Clothes.
Didn't you just buy some?
This is for the trip.
Dorothy Gardiner,
What?
what money are you buying clothes with?
It came in the package.
Why didn't you tell me about this?
He never mentioned anything about it.
It's a little strange, don't you think?
Why? Maybe he wanted it to be a surprise.
It's too much.
He wants us to have nice clothes. And besides, I'm sure he sent the check to everyone.
So what are you gonna buy?
I don't know.
You're just gonna go to Penny's?
I don't know.
You want me to come with?
No.
Dorothy walks away. Exterior, downtown Atlanta, shopping district, day. Dorothy walks out of the same store she visited before, this time with a bag in her hand. She looks into it, finding the green dress she tried on, and smiles. Interior, Gardiner house. Dorothy's bedroom, dawn. Super, September 2nd, 1985. Dorothy lies in her bed. She looks over at her clock. It's 5 in the morning. She groans and rubs her eyes. She pulls her covers close. After a moment, she forces herself to get out of bed.
One more week.
Fade out.